call the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First thing we need is the agenda that was currently printed. We need to remove public comments from Greg Jarbo. He was busy last night. And also the mitigation of the bats down under the number 6D. They're still putting legal papers together on that issue. Any other additions to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda as modified.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Any public comments that hasn't signed up? Okay, Chris, go to the minutes.
Everyone have time to review the May 1st meeting minutes?
I think so.
Any questions or concerns?
If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Yes.
all those in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Payroll, Chris.
All right, we have 619 payroll in the amount of $163,139.11. Health claims, $51,302.77. Advanced claims, so far for this month, $1,123 or $1,123,194.69. Now, this does include our second bond payments in that. So,
The ones that actually were due in July Right. Okay.
Yes.
for the first.
We went ahead and paid those out.
There's just two payments in a year, correct?
Yeah, January and July.
Okay.
Yep. So those were in there.
That's the Foundry bond payments.
Okay.
So if you guys want to,
Any comments, questions?
I don't have any. You want to take them all three together?
If we're okay with that, it's okay with me.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve all three.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Auditor's office copier.
yes, I sent this out to you guys yesterday. I know that Hoosier Business Machines, which is who the county has done business with, there are offices that had, I know that the clerk's office, I know that, okay, hold on. The clerk's office, for one, is, I think that's it, is getting their machine updated. It was budgeted for 2023. Phil John brought it to my attention. The copier in the treasurer's office, which was a purchase date of August 4th of 2014, that they can no longer get parts for this machine. So we are, knock on wood, everybody. It's not troublesome right now. We're not having any problems with it. But if we would have problems with it, there's no guarantee they would be able to get us parts to fix it. And of course, the prices on things will start going up. So he brought this to me yesterday to bring this quote here to basically trade in and replace just the exact same, nothing different than what we have now, just the newer model, with the trade-in price of $5,899. This quote expires July 17th. He said it will be a minimum of a 10% increase after July 17th. So I it's not budgeted for 2023. And like I said, knock on wood, we're okay. We don't have any issues. I just wanted to start here with you guys. I personally don't know if this is something that we look at other vendors. I know Hoosier Business does a lot of business in the county. I know we use them at the school corporation, but I don't know if this is something that we have other options. I really don't know if we have other options of other places. Their customer service is wonderful and very, very unstressful for us. They pretty much take care of everything and all that. So I don't know. As of, like I said, right now, it's not in the 2023 budget to replace this. I just wanted to go ahead where everybody's kind of informed on this, that this is going to be it's a 9-year-old copier right now that gets a lot of work to it. I know that this copier used to be shared between the treasurer and the auditor's office, which now it is not.
Is this just a copier or a copier scanner?
Copier scanner, the big,
Okay.
yes, this is a black and white and color. We have it programmed for black and white. We only print color when we have to, and a necessary thing. I will tell you that, like, my printer in my office has a mind of its own. You never know if it's going to work or what. So this is the main copier that I use too. I don't actually have a desk printer or anything. This is what I use, and this is other than payroll, this is what our entire office uses. So I'm thankful right now, but I just want to make everybody aware that if it does go out, we might be in a little bit of a bind.
And you said July 17th, they're gonna take a 10%.
He said there's minimum 10% increase, July 17th.
Did he not say that he's gonna cover the maintenance on it through this year though?
Yes.
So we're good till January 1st.
But if we want to buy a new copier,
It'll cost us 10%
it'll cost us 10% more. He has, John said I sent you guys that email. Because I guess the contract should have been done in August, but he has spoke with them, the higher up people there at Hoosier Business, and stated that, with them being through the calendar year, instead of just springing this on them, let's cover them through the end of 2023. So
The cost of one will be what?
$5,900,
What?
$5,899 with the trade-in.
I don't understand because
So is that the
They can't get
trade-in
part-
or is that is that what they're giving us for the old copier, or is that what
That's what it'll
the
cost
price
us.
is
That's the difference.
deducted?
between,
That's
That's the difference. We give them the old copier, the trade-in,
That
and
costs us
then
$58.
we give
$58.99.
them the trade-in that they can't use because they can't get parts for it.
Okay, looking ahead
Well, I mean,
I know how that works, so.
towards next year, if you put that in the budget, more than likely you're gonna get it the first of the year.
Yeah,
10%, that's $500. Do we save $500 and try to find the money now, or just wait? I guess that's the question.
my whole thing is too, if we order it now, we're probably not gonna get it. We might not even get it till after the first of the year, so it might be
But we ordered, now we get the
the discount.
discount.
Yep.
Okay.
So if I order it now and allot it out of the 2024 budget, but the still is, it's an additional cost that I wasn't planning on budgeting, whether it was 23 or 24.
But your opinion, I know it's up to the council, but what would we, rainy day, or what kind of fund would we pull that from? How much is in the maintenance fund?
I don't even know what's in the maintenance fund yet.
We're gonna get there, but as soon as we get into the other maintenance stuff too, so.
Okay.
When was the deadline? 17th of July?
Yes.
What I'd like to do is possibly table this to see if there's any alternatives. We still will have a meeting, I think, on the 3rd of July, so maybe we'll get a little more inside at that time.
Okay.
And see what else is out there, because I'm not familiar with who might be providing.
Is that the
Copiers.
only one that you have checked with on a scanner printer?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know
Oh.
if there's any other, I don't know if there's other vendors. It's not something I've ever dealt with before.
Mhm.
And this was just, brought to me yesterday. And
I think
went
you're
ahead-
looking at the maintenance, the service afterwards more so than you're looking at the,
The whole
Okay.
package.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're local. That's why,
Yeah.
relatively local.
And they do
Yeah.
work for the county anyway.
And
I
that's,
just look at if we pass this up now and come February, we're not under, and then it's gonna cost us more. And if we would ever, if they would even be able to get the parts, if it would break down and go down.
now the treasurer's office used the old one.
Administrator.
Yeah, I don't know what age that one is.
That's
So
something
it's-
I actually thought about too. I know in the past, we've got that walkthrough there.
Yeah.
That right now it's kind of got a lot of IT stuff in it, but if we could if it come to be that we needed to share a copier, we could clean that area out and put that back in there and set it back up like it used to be, to where we shared it and there were copy counts as far as you had to enter a code and,
Mhm.
then the auditors, with the way it is, in the past, as I was told, is the auditor would then bill the treasurer, and they would pay that out of their budget there. So, I mean, there's other options.
That might be something to consider too. So
So
we
I just
keep a
want-
newer copier if both offices are using it.
Mhm.
To wear it out a little quicker. So,
There we go.
so let's put that on,
Table.
yeah, see what you could find out
Okay.
by the next meeting. Next one up is Steve Howe, the Little League Tournament. You're not playing in it, are you? Okay.
You the umpire or the catcher or what?
Umpire.
Umpire? Okay, that's good.
Ferry Central does this. They've done it for 3 or 4 years in a row. It's a kind of an annual thing. They have a tournament there. Have a bunch of other schools there, and they would request to close the road from French Ridge up past the pavilion. They've done this the last 2 or 3 years. We haven't never had any problem with it. They take care of putting the barricades up and taking them back down. And we never had any complaints or anything.
So you
Anybody-
provide the signage and the requirements and they put it up?
Yeah, they've got some signs, but sometimes they'll borrow some from us too if they need them, They always come get them, bring them back, so.
So what do they do? Just close it down during the tournament and then
Yeah.
take them back down the
Yeah.
nights then? So we're not,
Yeah, it's from the 14th through the 16th, and I think they just close it during the actual
during the
play.
tournament.
That's a pretty good sized tournament, isn't it?
Yeah, they have several schools
Yeah.
there, they said, that participate in it.
Yeah, and right there when you're coming over that little
Mhm.
slope there, it's kind of dangerous,
Yeah,
you
it
got
makes-
kids there.
You got that many schools there, it makes it
Yeah.
a lot safer to go
Yes.
ahead and close it, I believe.
do they park along Old 37 there?
No, they're not supposed to.
I knew that, but I don't know if they did that since it was closed or not.
No, he said that they weren't gonna let anybody park along the road.
Okay.
That's where the signage comes in.
Any other comments?
You can allow it across in the street though, and they got a parking lot across.
Yeah, they're gonna park in that new lot across the
Okay,
street.
okay, I was gonna make sure, but not along the road.
Right,
Thank you, appreciate that.
that's what they said.
Okay.
Make a motion to let them close it.
Got a motion to allow the Little League Tournament to close the road 14th through the 16th,
I'll second that motion.
and a second. Any other comments?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Steve, you're on to notifying them.
Okay. Thank you.
Stay here.
Okay.
Covered bridge certification, that's underneath you
I
also.
put this under him. I had him verify. We do have 0. Did you have any
Right.
insight
Don't
on
have
that?
any covered
So
bridges.
are we required to fill that out even though we don't have an
I've
active?
never seen that before.
This was actually sent to me like in the mail, like not emailed, and it was already pre-filled out. That we had 0, but we have to, it says that you guys have to sign off on it, and I have to send this back.
They come from the state or
Yeah.
You ever gotten one of those before?
can't remember.
Does it just state, Chris, that we don't have any covered
Yeah.
bridges?
Yeah, it just says we have
that's- yeah,
0.
Literally, it was already pre-filled
we
out
sign it.
and state it, and then
Well,
It's got
actually, the
the-
covered bridge is actually Spencer County, but we,
I don't think they use it anymore, do they?
No, now,
We were talking about.
we do get a little bit of money, a few $100 a year under the covered bridge thing. The bridge actually belongs to Spencer County, but we participate a little bit if they have to do something to it, paint or something. What little bit of money we got, we put that toward when they do something to it.
I don't know.
and actually, I guess,
But it's
we don't
actually,
have one in our road.
Right.
yeah, it's actually Spencer
Inventory.
County bridge.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Spencer County. It says 0 for Perry County.
Which that's probably right.
And it's got the Indiana code on here and says counties must certify to the auditor of state the number of covered bridge located within their road system. Accordance with your county commissioners to determine if your county contains covered bridges within the county's road system. Complete certification by emailing, I gave an email address, by July 31st. And like, they highlighted this. This was actually physically mailed like this.
I
And-
think it's probably just something that the
Yeah.
state has to
Mhm.
do.
So I
in
just put
order-
on here.
According to NDOT, the counties, you own the bridges that connect county to county on your east side. So we don't have any on our east side. The ones on our west side are the county, which is Spencer County.
To the west.
Yeah.
That's how they,
That's how they divide that, or that's how they do that.
we don't own that old iron bridge up there as you go up.
No,
Good.
no, that's out of Perry County.
That's scary.
I was thinking that we don't want to own. So I guess we'll make I'll entertain a motion to fill out this covered bridge document stating we have no covered bridges in the road system. Somebody like to make that, and then we'll all
I'll make a
sign it.
motion. I mean,
Yeah, that's fine. I'll second that. motion.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. So we'll fill this out after the fact here. We'll all get to sign it for some reason. And then the last one is E&B paving. You've looked at that, Steve?
I looked at it and I talked to Andrew this afternoon. He said it looked good to him.
Okay.
So
He emailed back saying it looked good.
I called him. So-
He sent an email to you and
Oh,
I
yes,
as well.
he did.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
because I told him I wanted, I like that documentation.
Yeah.
So at the last, I guess just to formalize this thing, at the last time we approved E&B pending legal review and Steve looked at it. So I don't know whether we need to do that again or just simply sign it. I mean, what's,
Is
Yeah,
anything
Well, we
Well,
approved it, just now if it was okay with the attorney and Steve, that should be good enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now that Form 96 in there, there's one in each of the contracts that has to be executed the day it's awarded. So if you officially award it today, we need to,
okay. So let's go through the process of officially awarding it.
that would
We'll
make
sign it.
everything simpler.
Make sure we're
that way.
not,
Okay.
We got to dot over i's
Yeah.
and cross our t's.
so what are we gonna call that? The community crossings and the other one is
Lit, we could just call it lit paving.
lit paving.
Mhm.
So let's put those together in a motion to approve the community crossings for 23, right?
Yeah.
2023 and also the lit paving for 2023. And the contractor is E&B Paving. It was the low bidder on the project.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
I'll second that motion.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Steve,
Okay.
when are you gonna start? When is all the paving gonna start?
I have to send this paperwork to NDOT. I'll send it tomorrow. They'll send me a PO on it and and with that, I'll have the notice to proceed. So I'll call E&B and see when they can start on it then.
Mhm.
And I'll work with them and, see when they can get started on paving.
Now, in order, what are they gonna do? In which times? What roads?
Well,
I
the
know,
community,
I know the roads, but what dates are possibly? Are they gonna
Well-
do first, second, third?
they'll probably do, I'm not sure how that'll go. They'll probably do Boundary Way first
Okay.
and then Boyd and then Starlight would be my guess.
Then you could be just completely wrong.
Could be absolutely
Right.
wrong, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, the contractor, depending on
Yeah, it depends
what
on
equipment he's got and the crews he's got, he may change his mind.
Yeah.
And the people that had contacted me about where you put the culverts in on Boyd, they said, thank you
Oh,
for filling them back in.
okay. We've been trying to do that every week or check them,
Yeah. I appreciate it.
It's a problem. I mean, you want to dig the culverts out because you don't want the old junk ones in there,
Right.
but then the time it takes to get the documents and everything together and the bids and that, there's always a window and it's
It'd
a
be nice,
challenge.
it'd be nice if we knew where we could replace the culverts a year ahead of time, but, you know, with community crossings, it doesn't work that way.
And it's a
Exactly.
good thing they do settle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
At
yeah.
the end result, we'll have a better road because it won't settle after it's paved over.
Right.
So
Right. Right. It gives it time to let Mother Nature work on it.
I just realized the typo.
In what?
thank you.
Those meeting minutes were from June 5th, not
Okay.
5/1.
That's what I was thinking, June.
I'm sorry. I was like.
I
June
seen them
5th,
over
yeah.
here.
I don't know.
Shuffle pages.
Yes, so the meeting minutes
Yeah.
were for 6/5. There's a typo on the agenda, not May 1st.
Let's reapprove those. Let's
I just realized that.
go back to item 3 and then entertain a motion for the 6/5/23 minutes versus
make a
as
motion.
printed.
Second that motion.
All those in favor?
Uh,
Okay, that's cleaned that up. Now we're up to the air conditioners. I got that quote and I think you got it on the courtroom,
The old courtroom.
the small one.
Yeah.
And this is going to bring us all back into where we are with our funding and that. That was originally built after the courthouse was put in place. And then they put an air conditioner in just for that courtroom. Well, the problem, it's been an ongoing battle, is because it sits inside of a building that's already heated and air conditioned. So now you have an air conditioner that never kicks on and off because the outside walls, the ceiling, everything is at 70 degrees. So it never runs and there's never any air that moves through there. So the humidity builds up and it's kind of miserable. So I don't know whether you remember this, Randy, back Alpha came in and they were talking about putting additional ductwork for return air. The problem of it is the air conditioner doesn't run. And I got Ed Riss out here and we looked at, he originally installed it and it had a duct to the outside so it brought in fresh air. But somewhere along the line, they closed that off and that was not allowing any fresh air to come in. We thought that might solve it, so he opened it back up. We also moved a duct over, so we pulled air out of that room with the big system that runs the whole entire courthouse. That didn't do it. We also looked at kicking on the fan and forcing it to operate. I had for 3 days, they ran it over there and it was still juicy inside, 60-degree humidity inside of that. So all these different things were tried, and that's what Ed said, let's try them before we spend any money. And he said, we're getting down. What happens, we tested the CO2 in there. That was the only thing that got high on us, and that happened when you put a whole bunch of people in there for court day, whatever that is. And it loaded it up, and the CO2 got kind of high by the time they all left. So Ed's suggestion is to put in a dehumidifier, and this is a commercial system into the ductwork that's on a timer that kicks itself on once every hour, forces the system to circulate air, and if the humidities came up, it'll take it out of the system before it shuts itself back down and the water drains in through a regular pipe. Right now they have a couple of these small ones that they keep carrying it out in buckets to try to keep it tolerable to use the room. So it's kind of in a process. That's, I think, would be the solution. But that
How
is,
often is this courtroom used? I know it's called an auxiliary courtroom.
you're asking the wrong person, but Karen Werner generally, as the magistrate,
Several
uses
days a
that.
week.
Several days a
Maybe a
week.
couple.
Yeah, at least 2 to 3.
That's what I would guess.
Okay.
And what they do is they'll bring them in, fill the whole seating in, and then it starts getting kind of tight as the day goes on, and all those people are in there.
You know, if we could put this on, which look like they can, will that air condition take care of it? It'll cool it if it needs to be cooled, but
Correct. right now, what you can actually do, you can kick the air conditioner on, run her down to about 65 degrees. It gets comfortable, but everybody freezes in there
Mhm.
because the air conditioner just is not, it's not required. It's just, it has no exterior walls, no exterior ceilings. It's just,
Mhm.
it's a pod inside of a conditioned building. And that's where it's,
It was never
Creative.
hooked into the original.
my understanding was that Judge McIntosh did this kind of on his own without the blessing of the other county officials, and he just did it. So it was never hooked into the existing system. So it's kind of by itself. But then we get back to, and I brought these things along, when we start talking copier, we have, as far as county general, building maintenance, equipment repair, and mechanical maintenance, 5,000, 1,000, and 5,000. Now, we have spent some of that.
What was it, 5,000?
5,000 for building maintenance, 1,000 for equipment repair, and then 5,000 for mechanical. And we've overspent the one on building maintenance by $1,400 already, and the other $132 payment. So we have roughly $5,000 in that remaining. And then over in cumulative capital, we have another one for the courthouse, which is building maintenance. There's 15,000. So let me throw another bomb at you. Back a year ago, the air conditioner for this building has 3 phases. So it has 3 compressors out there. One of them is down. The 2 will sufficiently cool the building without a problem. The third one's kind of a spare.
Backup?
Well, we really don't need it until we lose one of the 2. And then Randy, do you remember, I think it was last year, at times it got a little tight in here because
Yeah.
they were trying to get that switched over so they could get 2 units, 2 compressors running to keep the building cool. So that's the gamble we're playing with, whether we want to fix the third one that we don't necessarily need until we need it, but it won't be inexpensive either. I'm going to guess $6,000, $7,000 to $10,000, and I don't know that's a good guess or not, but
That's
it
to
won't.
fix.
That's to add one of those compressors back in there to the unit. I'm just guessing.
That unit original, did we?
No, that was put in. I'm getting all this information through Teresa,
Mhm.
and I'm thinking that it was installed probably 6 years ago.
I remember they put their chiller at like $50-some thousand.
Yep.
Something like that.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yep. So one of the compressors is out. So that's another one of our challenges. Is I just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of that.
Well, my opinion, that newer unit, we probably ought to keep it up and fix it up. If we can.
How old is that one?
I'm thinking about 6 years. Might be
Now, if it'd
7.
be 30 years old, I'd say,
Right.
let's ride it out till the end and
Yeah.
replace the whole thing.
That's not a very long life.
No, and these are commercial units. It's
Mhm.
not like a household. So
Could we just get a price on it?
we could, sure. At least we'd be that much farther down the road to see
Yeah.
what it would cost us.
I mean, we're just kind of shooting in the dark now.
Exactly. Yeah. So that brings us back to what do we do? I don't think, I don't know whether there's any money in the courts budget for any maintenance of their courts. Or does it have to come out of it has to come out of the courthouse budget? So,
What budget actually would that come out of? Building maintenance, cumulative,
well, I mean, we could grab it where we wanted to.
equipment, mechanical,
All the
We-
above.
all the above? That sounds good.
Well, the mechanical maintenance, see, would have a little less than 5,000 in it.
132
See this one here we spent.
over, so it's
64
gonna
over.
come out of, since they're in the same line item here.
So see, you've got 11,000 there and you've spent roughly 6,500 out of that.
Yep.
So that would have enough out of county general. We'd have, we're at the middle of the year though. That's the only sticker here. But we would have it in county general to do the courtroom. And then that would still leave us, let's see, we've only spent out of the 15,000, 1,267 of that money for building maintenance. So we've still got 13,800. So if we go through the process, find out what our compressor costs us, and then we can discuss what kind of a jam that put us in if we paid for the compressor and how much we'd have left over for the year then. Make us a little wiser.
So the dehumidifier would be 2,200?
That's just a duck.
That's the duck, okay.
This is just the duck.
That's just a duck. They were proposing a duck, and the duck won't solve the problem over there. We're gonna
It's
have
just
to get it
3,000?
3,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you use 3,000, you won't need the,
Oh, no.
Okay.
That was just their proposal. They thought that just needed more air in there, but the unit doesn't run. You know, if it
Because
ran
of the
like a,
compressor.
no, it's because it's enclosed with
Oh,
already
it's-
conditioned air.
It's on its
It
own
just
separate.
never, the only time it ever cycles on is when they pack it full of people. And then it'll kick on once it raises the temperature. But it stays, Mandy Mogan buckets quite a bit of water out of there just to keep it tolerable, steady. And they ignored that. They told me that for a while, and then they had some hair growing on some of their benches and that. So then they had to pay the cleaning people to clean that mess up, which wasn't
well, it needs to be
cheap
fixed.
either. So
Yeah, that's,
it's been an ongoing issue.
would this have to be bidded out for this?
I don't think we have to. He's been working, doing all this other testing, and had sent us a bill. He did it because I asked him to. So,
Well, I'll make a motion to approve. Coming out of the, you said the general fund?
yeah, we got money in the general fund,
Okay.
enough to cover that in our maintenance,
Courthouse.
courthouse maintenance, yeah.
Okay, that's my motion then.
Okay, motion to repair or to add the dehumidifying loop and ductwork.
I'll second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Any other discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
When
Okay.
can he start on this? I mean, I don't want to see the hair keep growing in there.
Yeah, I'd say it'll be right away. It depends on the equipment, but you can get equipment easier today than what you have in the last year or two. So I think he can relatively quick get on it. So what we're going to do here is look for pricing on repairing the compressor. So once we get that, we'll have that discussion here on the courthouse. Next item we have is the Webb Wheel TIF District. And at the last redevelopment meeting, they voted unanimously. The Webb Wheel TIF District the bonds have been paid off. Chris, you don't know the amount of money offhand, do you, that's left in that?
No.
It's around,
Off the top of my head.
I'm thinking 300,000 is the number that's still remaining in that TIF district, which they'll have to come up with something to do with it. But they voted unanimously to shut that one down too, because the bonds and everything are paid and it serves its purpose.
And when was that shut down?
This year, I think in our 22, I believe, is when they paid the bonds off, which was like the fall.
And how long was that tip?
That was a tip and I'm doing this out of memory. I think it started in 2004. It's when it
I knew they
started.
had paid it off several years ago.
And so that would be 19 years. They had enough money they could pay it off, and they just paid it off. So I think
And that, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that money came to pay them off from the edit, 30% edit plan.
I think they had, what they did,
Because when they got paid off, and that freed up some of the edit funds for other,
I was thinking the Webb got paid off with the TIF collected funds. And I think they had collected, every time they do these things, they plan on collecting a little more than they need. just in case. So if the
Enough
tax
of
rates go against you or something to that nature, and then you don't collect enough money to service the bonds. And I think in this case, they had enough money that they, and I think it was a 20-year TIF, if I remember. And so they actually got it paid off maybe one payment or two payments early because they had collected a little bit more than was required. I'm pretty sure that's how that came about. So,
So if we vote to dissolve the TIF there, that money would come back in as regular tax money into the county, right?
Yep. in essence, what'll happen is it'll become assessed valuation.
Mhm.
And so our assessed valuation in the county will go up, and then our property taxes will go down, rates will go down.
Yeah.
So everybody will pay a little less.
We won't get any more money, but
That's because we're
Yeah,
under
we-
the state levy.
yeah, that's right.
So we're stuck with that, but the general public that's paying taxes will see a reduction.
Can I see that pen?
Do what?
Can I see that black pen? This one, right? Thank you.
So,
There's no projects they're working on, correct?
now, and state law has changed now. If you're gonna have a TIF district, you have to have a project. That just passed the legislature, so
Okay.
that's kind of where it's all at now.
So it's just sitting there.
Well, it'll be, what will happen is if you collect it, it'll be collected in that TIF district. And then it kind of flies in the face of the but if not for Indiana statute that says only use TIFs in the event you can't finance it any other way or do it any other way, then a TIF is the last resort. Well, when you don't have a project or don't have a planned use, it's hard to follow that statute. So,
But the 300,000 will stay in that for a future project if they,
the way that's the next thing, Randy, and I think they're getting Baker Tilly involved. And the way John explained it to me is that it could be a pass-through to taxing units. It could be, I think, set in the RDC and used for other projects coming in, or it could be reverted back to the county. I think that's what he told me. Those are the three options. And he was going to check with them to get clarity. My thoughts were, it's already been collected, rather than going back through the distributions, save it for a project if that works.
Mhm.
And that way it's some seed money for them when and if something comes up that they need funding, and then they don't come to us asking for something we don't have.
yeah, I
So,
think that would make good sense.
But they could always reapply for TIF, right?
Oh, yeah.
Correct at any
Yeah.
time.
anytime, it's a matter, 90 days is what he said, is what it takes to set one up. So, and there's a fee associated with every year doing the paperwork and everything associated with it. So we'll eliminate that also. So,
Well, I make a motion to dissolve the TIF, web wheel TIF.
got a
I'll second
motion,
that motion.
got a second? Any other discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
3-0. We'll dissolve web wheel TIF. Next item up is the Carrollton Road inquiry.
I put this on here just so we can keep this here for an update.
We're still waiting for that simplified form from Andrew.
Do you want me to get with Andrew on that, or have you
Yes,
talked to
you
him?
can
'Cause I
remind him
haven't-
again.
I didn't say anything to him after last meeting, so I will get with,
But it's really just so that any landowner can actually get that done without engaging an attorney.
Okay.
To do
I
that.
will do that.
I was wanting to ask too, on that TIF, does the attorney need to be involved in on that?
Chris, did you find anything out because we have those other TIFs? Do you know what legally we're required to do to change those, to dissolve them? Because I know we're going to have
Gonna
to
have to do, yeah.
get a hold of Baker Tilly
Mhm.
and probably,
There was email correspondence, but I haven't got the forms.
An
He said
answer
he said he
Need
would
to
get
fill
that
out?
to me. Yeah.
okay,
So, yeah,
so
he just hasn't got the exact documents to me
to
for
you
that.
yet,
Yeah.
okay. Have them add
Yep.
web wheel to it too, so we
Okay.
get it all one time. Last item on the agenda is the animal shelter. Update on the work.
Okay, on 6/6, they got guttering on the backside of the shelter was taken down. That's on the warehouse side that's leased out. There was the contractor, I was down there and the contractor had me come back there and look. There's a board, but there was a board up along the top between the roof and the block. He showed me you could move that wall. You could take your hands and actually move that block wall. It wasn't poured. There was nothing to support that wall. So he came up with a plan to put concrete anchors in and attach it to the steel beams above, which made that wall a lot stronger. I mean,
Who did
it's
this?
JPS.
They were working on the gutters.
They're the ones working on the gutters. And when I seen that wall move, it terrified me because they put their ladder up there and you could see the wall move. So he was actually working on that today too. He should have gotten it done today. And he is going to be working on the guttering to put it up on the front and back and then have that done. On 6-7, Thomas Glass installed the back door. There's a back door toward the creek side, toward the solid waste side. The frame was good, but the door was rusted and all messed up, so they replaced the back door. On 6-9, the city of Tell City was gracious enough to donate, and Mayor Kale was gracious enough to donate furniture, office furniture, to the animal shelter that came out of the German American Bank when they remodeled. So Greg Hendershot and his employee went up and me and Molly went down and she picked out what she wanted and they delivered it up to her. And I want to thank the city of Tell City and Mayor Carroll for donating that. Today I contacted the roofing company again about coating on the roof. They're about 2 weeks behind, 2.5 weeks behind on a job. Excuse me. But Jacoby at We Coat Roofs, that's who my contact is, and she told me that we are on the schedule to get this done. It could be 3 weeks before they get here, and they've agreed to put what is on there right now is an acrylic spray sealant, and they also have what they call a silicone sealant. And I talked to one of the workers that was there when he came the last time. And I asked him, I said, if this was your home, which would you put on? He said the silicone sealant would work a lot better. It's a rubbery type sealant that seals into any cracks, any screw holes. So I asked, could that be done on the building, on the roof? And she said, yes. I said, I want a good heavy coat on it. And Kaiser Electric is going to start next week on the electrical with the fire exits, signs, and the wiring for all of that. So that will be done then. Painting is in progress on the inside, on the interior. Molly's doing most of that herself, her and her husband and some volunteers, because they don't want me down there painting. No. The security cameras, Molly purchased some security cameras. I don't know if they're installed yet or not. I haven't been down there for about a week, but we were having, or not me, but Molly, and then we're having problems with people bringing crates of animals and just setting them by the door. No, not knowing nothing, there you were. So I told her, I said, you need to get some cameras. We need to find out who these people are. So and she has hired a manager, and Amy Kessinger. She's with the she's with the animal shelter or the Humane Society. And I think she will be very good. She's very passionate with animals, and she's good management.
What was the name again?
I think it's Ann.
Ann Kessinger.
Ann Kessinger.
And she's, I think she'll work out really well.
No, the roof is under warranty, right?
Yes, the roof is under warranty. It was put on in 20,
Mhm.
and it has a 10-year warranty. The roof was never, how should I put this? It was never built right. To start with, there's too many valleys and too many
Mhm.
back and forth and drainage. It could go in a hole here and wind up coming through the roof over here. But the silicone sealant, I hope, will take care of that. There was just a couple of places that Molly had noticed that was still leaking from the last heavy rains we've had. And, but I want them to do the whole roof with the silicone. I think it'll be a better coating, but we'll see. If it doesn't, they'll be back up here again. I know them by first name now.
Thank you, Becky.
You're welcome.
Stay on it.
Yes.
That's the end of it. If we don't have anything else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye. Oh, one.